Unpopular opinion, who do I think is best for AD? I think AD would have been better off with Matthew. I know he's got his issues in the sense that he gives these Sheldon vibes from the Big Bang Theory, but I think when you compare him to Clay, I think he's a better match. And I don't get how AD ended up with these two as her sort of prospects, but hey, I digress. Hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, leave a comment, and definitely share. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love is Blind Season 6, Episode 2. So you have Jeremy go on a date. He first goes on a date with Laura and then he goes on a date with Sarah Ann. And I like it when they show it back to back like this, because then you see the interactions and you are able to see why somebody chose somebody. Because when he goes into the pods with Laura, he calls her Sarah Ann for some reason. So it's not just Shane who called someone by the wrong name. It makes sense. And also, their conversations are totally different, because with Sarah Ann, he's talking about planning a life, buying a home, moving into the home. Whereas with Laura, he was talking about hoovering and cleaning, and it's like, oh, okay. So this is his number one and this is his number two. In my opinion, it comes across as though Laura is his number two and Sarah Ann is his number one, because he's talking about what dates would you plan. I would want to buy a home with the person that I get married to, and would move in, would put out our stuff. So he's making future goals with her. Yes, he's talking about the future with Laura Ann, sort of, but it's more about cleaning and their OCD. Unless it's the editing, I think he's leaning more towards Sarah Ann, and it makes sense. Amy and Johnny, for me, were very cute. I liked the games that they played, in the sense that they were asking each other very thought-provoking questions. But then I am a bit sort of like pause for concern when Johnny said, after Amy spoke about her brother with learning disabilities, and sort of said that at one point I might need to be his carer. And he said, well, 2 weeks ago, I wouldn't have considered that. I would have run away. But now, I'm a different person. And it's like, what's to stop you once you leave the pause to want to run away again? I don't get it. I'm concerned, is all I'm going to say. I'm not buying that he's suddenly born again and is now open to, the person that he dates, and not the idea of who they are, or, his personal type, his personal spec. So I don't know. I really don't know. I think she needs to be cautious. I think she needs to look out for that, because what if that person that wasn't sort of very focused on the qualities of a person, but more what they look like, or more a specific type, comes back after they leave the pods. So I don't know about that. So in the women's lounge, you have AD having a conversation with one of the other ladies, sort of saying that she was talking to Matthew, and it sounds like he was using a script, because one of the other ladies came back and repeated word for word what he had said to, AD. And so she is wanting to ask him that, what are you doing? Are you playing games? I'm not here for games. I'm really looking for love, and I don't want to be stuck with a guy who's just here just for the fun of it. And so for me, I don't know. I think AD should go home. I don't think she should entertain Carlton. Neither should she entertain Matthew, especially if it's true that Matthew has been using the same script on both ladies. I'm surprised the producers didn't show us the edit of Matthew sort of using the same script on both ladies. I would have preferred that than for the lady just to come back and say, because you never know, maybe one of the producers has sort of said to her, go and tell, AD this, and let's see how she reacts. So I really don't know how that's all play out. In regards her saying, Clay, I run after red flags and I'm a fixer hoe. And I'm like, nah, Clay is not it. The moment he asked you about your physical features, because what you need to remember is you will get older, you will have children, and your features will change. Will he leave you then because he's after a specific type? I don't think he's it. I think you're just going to while up time with him until, he gets bored, and then he's going to move on to the next thing. I really don't get AD, seeing how she looks and the fact that she's highly intelligent. I don't get how these men are running circles around her. One, I don't get why she ended up on Love is Blind. too, because she could have easily found someone in the real world. So she has this conversation with, with Matthew, and sort of holds his feet to the fire in the sense that he was using a script on both girls, and he sort of is able to worm his way out. Oh, I used part of it, the other part. It makes sense that you would use part of it, because I remember Zach, they said, the toy that he used on Irina, he also used it on Blaise, and he was trying to sort of gauge the women to see who is best for him. So I get that you'd want to use the sort of same template to see who sort of aligns with what you're after, but at the same time, I think he should have owned up. I'm so sorry, he should have explained himself. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find my best match, and in so doing, this is why I sort of asked you both the same questions, because I wanted to see your responses, to see who aligns with me, who is being genuine, who is being fake. I think that's what he should have done, instead of him saying, oh, okay, no, I used part of it, I didn't use part of it, because then he's playing games, and then you can see that he's not there for the right reasons. And as for Clay, I don't even know why AD is entertaining Clay. I'm surprised that of all the guys there, these are the two guys she's left with. It doesn't make sense. For Clay to say his ego is bruised because she's entertaining Matthew, what? Maybe you should be asking her, what did Matthew say that sort of took you over? Because we're two totally different people. Instead of you sort of being focused on the fact that you are this cool dude and Matthew is this nerd. Why is she liking the nerd the same time she's liking you? You both have two total different personalities. You have different likes and different sort of social groups that you mix in. I think that's what he should have done. But then, hey, it is what it is. I'm now afraid to even like any couple, given the roller coaster that Matthew put me on, the fact that I really liked him, and then, it turns out she's playing games. So you have Amber and AD sit down and sort of have a conversation and realize that Matthew was actually playing games with them. They both liked him. I think they liked his uniqueness and the fact that most of the other girls didn't like him. And so it's sad to see them cry. I don't know whether Amber was being honest or whether she was trying to play games like Mika, because it seems the girls, when they first walk into the lounge, are friends, but then with time comes this sort of competition mentality, in the sense that everybody wants to win the guy, especially the popular guys or the guys that everyone thinks, has the best qualities. And so for me, I'm still skeptical. I want the producers to play the footage of, Matthew using the same playbook on both girls. And until I get that, I'm always going to have this suspicion that, is someone exaggerating what took place? Did somebody tell them to sort of replay it? Maybe I'm too naive, or I don't get it. And then you have Keith and Brittany. Oh God, I don't want to like them, just because when I do like them and something goes wrong, then I'm going to be upset, because I like the fact that they're both in the same field. One is a principal, one is a teacher. They've both experienced loss at a young age. One lost her aunt. Keith lost his mother, and so they have that. And because they love children, I like the fact that they're actually having substantial conversations. They both want children. They want at least 2 children, which is good. So I hope we don't have, a love triangle again, because it seems the producers really love love triangles, and I hope we at least get one couple that stay married. I really want, a successful relationship. I always root for love, so I hope they really do work. Anyway, I really don't get it. When you see guys like Johnny and you see guys like Kenneth, that how did AD end up with Clay and Matthew? What was she looking for? What was it? I don't get it. Anyway, you have Johnny go on a date with Amy C. They really seem to get along. They make each other laugh. It's so cute. It's so cute. It's just the most beautiful thing to see. And so, during their conversation, you have Johnny sort of let it slip that this is why I love you. And it's like, oh my God. So it's true then that people actually fall in love within 10 days, especially once they get to know the actual person they're talking to, because this is not the first person to say they fell in love with their partner in the pod. So it's cute to see, and it's cute to sort of see a relationship blossoming without any toxicity, without any sort of the love triangle. So I like that. And I love the women's, how excited they are for Amy when she lets them know that Johnny let it slip that, he's in love. And it's sad that you always get some girls that are just in the background and are cheering for someone. And it's like, why? Why can't we see all the dates? I know you can only follow 5 couples, but why can't we see the dating process? Why can't they give them more episodes so that we can see the number of dates? I know we can't see every single minute, but just a snippet of a couple of dates so that we get the gist of why people choose certain people in particular. I don't know whether it's because the producers don't want people to sort of get a template of how to behave so that they're picked, but hey, it is what it is. So you have Jimmy and Amber go on a date, and this is after Amber threw a fit because Jimmy said it was too much information when she told him that she had previously been married, and he was still railing from being told that Jessica had a child. And so for her, I think she's trying to win this man over. I think it's more competition than anything else, because I don't get why she felt the need to tell him about her marriage the same day Jess told him about the child. And then she goes on to imply that she looks like Megan Fox. And it's like, why are you doing that? In the pods, you're supposed to get to know the person before you get to know, the emotional, the psychological, before you get to see the physical. So the idea that you tell him that you look like Megan Fox, you could see from the moment she told him that turned his head, and that is why he started saying, oh, can we get married now? I don't think he was going to pick her. I think he was going to pick Jess, but her telling him that she looks like Megan Fox is what won it for him, and this is why he decided to sort of go with what he assumed was a sure thing. Oh my God, I love Jessica even more. Obviously, she's a mom. She's missing her daughter because, it's half term and the daughter's at home and she is filming Love is Blind. So obviously she's worried about that. And mom guilt, I get it. So to hear her on her date and sort of hear how raw she is and talk about herself and how she grew up, I think she is amazing. I think Jimmy is a fool if he doesn't propose to her. To hear how she grew up and yes, she comes with a lot of baggage. You could see that on his face. The fact that she spoke about that she was in foster care, her parents had an addiction problem, her dad once went to prison and then he committed suicide. But I think Jim should be more understanding in the sense that he says his parents are both on their second marriages. So he shouldn't be afraid of marrying someone who's been married before. And the fact that his mother came with her stepdaughter and sort of adopted her stepdaughter from her first marriage. So, Jessica having a baby should not be a problem. I like the fact that their conversations seem very in-depth. They're not superficial. I think Amber is trying to win Jimmy, so that's why she's being superficial. But I like the fact that, Jessica is very open and very transparent. I hope, if nothing else, even if Jimmy doesn't propose to her, I hope she finds her person because she comes across as an amazing person and I really like her. Oh my God, I really love her. I just realized that I might have been calling Chelsea Amber, but hey, it is what it is. So Chelsea goes on a date with Trevor, and for me, Trevor is too cute. I don't know whether Chelsea is the right person for him. I want to bubble wrap him. I think if AD had said she was going for someone like Trevor, that would have made sense because he comes across as caring, he comes across as very loving. So I don't get how AD ended up with Matthew in her shortlist, but hey. So they're having this conversation between Chelsea and, Trevor, and they're talking about his hair, and it's like, why are we talking about physical features? The producers need to stop this because people are being too superficial. The pods are supposed to be blind. You're supposed to be falling in love with someone blind, not being able to see what they physically look like. So I don't get that. And then you have Johnny. Johnny proposes to Amy, and that is cute. That is one of the sweetest things. The fact that he brought her flowers that were the same color as the outfit she was wearing, and was talking about wanting to still be attracted to her at 90 and sort of joking with her. And I like the fact that during their date they never spoke about anything physical, which is amazing. So I have high hopes for them as a couple. I think this is the first couple followed by Kenneth and what was her name? I've forgotten. I love them as a couple. I think they are one of my, I don't want to say favorites just because I said that about Matthew and then, things went south. So I'll just keep it at that. One of the couples that I like, maybe. So, unpopular opinion, Matthew. I think AD is better off with Matthew than should be with Clay. I think, yes, Matthew comes with his faults. He reminds me of Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory in the sense that he lacks social cues and he lacks the ability to sort of articulate himself in a way that is as acceptable to society at times, because he comes across like Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory in the sense that he's this highly intelligent young man who is difficult to sort of comprehend at times where he's going with the thought. They go on this date with AD and he's sort of talking about the fact that, yeah, he is broken in the sense that I think what he was trying to say to her was this. He likes her and he liked Amber. He hadn't yet made up his mind who he liked more. Yes, he did use the same playbook on the two of them, but I think he should have explained to her in the sense that on day one, he had questions he was asking everybody and he was looking for certain answers in particular. And I think because of his issues with social cues, this is why he tried to use the same playbook on both girls to see who answered him and who was likely to be aligned with him. But he didn't articulate this to AD, so it made it seem like he was playing games. But if I were to look at Clay and if I were to look at Matthew, I would say Matthew is more likely to be faithful to whoever he commits to than AD. AD is a player. AD is feeling some type of way because he didn't believe that, someone like Matthew could be in the running for the same girl as him, because he even said this in the man's lounge that he doesn't understand how AD could like him and could like Matthew at the same time. He felt Matthew was a sleeper agent in the sense that he wasn't saying what was going on with him, but somehow he had managed to convince AD to like him. I think AD had more in common with Matthew than she did with Clay. I think with Clay, it was only a matter of, they come from more or less slightly the same backgrounds. They understand the same social cues and everything else, but I don't think he will make her the right person as far as I'm concerned. It reminds me of, I know I always bring Zach Bliss and Irina into my reviews, but it reminds me of that situation in the sense that Matthew, yes, he comes across as, very straightforward and ABC, but I think he's a better match for AD than, Clay. I think Clay is just there for the celebrity, and so I don't know why she would choose him. I give it to Matthew for calling it off with AD. I think he was trying to protect his heart. I don't think he wanted her to break up with him before he got the opportunity to break up with her. And I think as soon as she said there was somebody else she was sort of also considering, this is why he called things off. And then he said, I'm going to go for Amber. And it's like, how do you know if Amber will take you back though? I don't think Amber was it. We didn't really get to see their dates. And I don't think everything played out as Amber said it did, because the producers would have shown it to us. I don't know why they didn't show it, because they've always shown us all other controversial stuff. So I don't get why they didn't show this if this was Matthew's playbook, in my opinion. So it seems the first reveal is going to be Johnny and Amy, and I'm happy for them because they really seem to be genuine. So I have high hopes and I really hope they work out in the real world. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 1. Bye guys.